Blossoms of the Savannah. Under that, we're going to look at the various themes that have been presented by the author Henry Olekulet in the Blossoms of the Savannah. Summary of themes. Let's have a look at this video. Thank you for watching the video. So as we have seen that themes are a message that the writer or messages that the writer tries to put across in a piece of art. So for this case, we have the novel Blossoms of the Savannah as the piece of art. We're going to look at the different themes presented to us. So we have major themes and minor themes. We have the major themes as positive. These are the themes that present across the novel. Minor themes are those that are found at different places in the novel, different chapters, different settings in a novel. Examples of major themes, we have positive and negative customs and traditions, cultural conflict, love, marriage and family, betrayal, determination and optimism, and alienation, and finally, female assertiveness or feminism. And some of the minor themes in this book or novel are corruption, suffering, gender inequality, materialism, change, male chauvinism, war, and violence. So today we're going to focus on two of the major themes, that is positive and negative customs or traditions and cultural conflict. Do we know some of the different types of customs and traditions that are present in our communities? What are some of them? Let's begin with the positive and negative customs and traditions. So culture refers to the customs, habits, and behaviors that characterize a society's, communities, or nation's way of life. On the other hand, traditions form part of the culture of a people and are handed down from a generation to another. So we have different habits and behaviors that characterize a particular society or set aside a particular society from another. Those are what we call that is what we call culture. The different habits and behaviors that characterize them. Traditions forming the part of culture of a people. So we have traditions being a part of culture of a certain people. We find that things that used to be done centuries ago are still done. That means that these things have been handed down from one generation to another. So in the novel Blossoms of the Savannah, we have positive aspects of culture and negative aspects of culture. Positive aspects of culture in Asila. So these ones were very important because they held the people of that community together. Songs that were sung during different ceremonies, for example, the homecoming ceremony of Olekaelo. Other relevant examples can be extracted from the following page excerpts. We can find other instances or other aspects of positive culture in Asila. And on to the negative aspects of culture in Asila. These were those that were strongly opposed. These were those that people, especially of the young generation, they thought that these are things that should have already been done away with. These are the things that they thought they were not necessary in the society anymore. Negative aspects of culture in Asila. The first one and the most dominant one, or the most recurrent one, was the female genital mutilation. This is an outdated cultural practice that has no standing in the changing Nasila to cultural conflict or what conflict is. So we have several characters undergoing cultural conflict or dilemma in the novel as a result of encountering and embracing the modern culture. Different characters in the Blossoms of the Savannah undergo cultural conflict or dilemma in the novel as a result of encountering and embracing the modern culture. So different characters are very much used to the traditional ways, and now they have come into contact with the modern ways. That means that they are conflicted. They are at a point where they don't know which way to follow or what way to go, because these are things that are now confusing them, if I would say. So we have in the novel people who are used to the modern way, modern tradition, or modern society coming into contact and conflict with the traditional ways, not knowing which one or what to do. So in the discussion of how they have been manifested, we now come to the supporting evidence from the text. Supporting evidence from the text. This is the evidence. This is the exact information from the text that is going to back up your claims or opinions or your answer or even your statement. So when identifying supporting evidence in a text, you are able to provide reasons for your opinion based upon information you have read. Commonly introduced by these words, for example, case in point, like when we see and many more. You can also use quotation marks to quote the exact text and cite the pages. So when identifying this supporting evidence in a text, this means that you're able to provide reasons for your opinion. Why do you think your opinion is correct? Or if it's correct, what evidence is going to support it? So from that, you're going to give us the supporting evidence from the text that you have read. You could use words like, for example, to introduce them, case in point, like. These are some of the parts of an essay. Do we know some of the parts of an essay, or do we know the parts of an essay? So at school, you write an essay, the teacher goes and marks and returns your paper or your question or your answer sheet to you. And you find that you've scored maybe a 10 out of 20, and you wonder, teacher, I wrote this point here, you didn't give me marks. Teacher, this is what I did, but you didn't award my marks. Or I wrote 5 points or 10 points, but I didn't score enough marks. So let's go through this, and after that, you are going to understand how it's really done. So the first part is the introduction. This is the first paragraph and is always treated as the introduction. It's usually 6 to 8 lines of the answer booklet. Do not write 15 lines, no. It's usually 6 to 8 lines, very brief, because this is what introduces us to the list, to what you're talking about or to your points. So a weak introduction gets 1 mark, a strong one gets 2, while an irrelevant one gets 0. So if you give a weak introduction, it means that it wasn't good enough for it to earn 2 marks. While a strong one means that you have nailed it correctly and you get 2 marks. If you score a 0 in the introduction, that means that you are very irrelevant and out of topic or out of context. A good introduction tells the examiner you have understood the question. So if you have a good introduction, the examiner will definitely know that you have understood what is required of you. Next, we look at the body. The body is now where you give us, or where you list all those points that were required of you. Each paragraph has its own ideas. Each paragraph starts with a topic sentence, and the topic sentence is followed by illustration from the text. Area: relevance, linguistic mark, and brevity, in these ways. Thank you. This marks the end of our lesson. Thank you for being a very good class, a cooperative class. I'll see you in the next class. Have a good afternoon. Goodbye.